Hi you guys, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a complete session of microblading. We're actually covering up old permanent makeup here, and we're going to go ahead and jump in. So she's already been drawn, mapped, consults done, and now we're outlining her brows with marker, which is what we do on all of our clients so that we don't lose our outline. Our preferred method is to use the ultra fine tip, so it's super tiny. And then as you can see here, our artist Mary is just kind of lightly dabbing the dots down and not pushing really hard. So that part's really important if you want to keep your outline tight. Now would totally be a good time to let you guys know that she just had her lips tattooed. So I realize that they're really big and swollen, but don't be distracted by that. That swelling's gonna go down in a few hours and she'll be back to normal and have beautiful, perfect lips tomorrow. So you'll notice that the dots are pretty close together, but not on top of each other and not smeared. And that's important so that you don't lose your outline. And next, we're gonna go ahead and break the skin. So those of you who have followed us for a while, you know we do a broken skin method that we came up with. So if you need help with the numbing technique that gets your clients really numb and won't remove your outline, we have a class for that. And I'll include the link for our online training for that in the description box below. But now Mary is gonna apply the numbing gel to both brows so that it can work really well and get her super numb. While we're looking at her up close, you can see her old work that she had done elsewhere. This is about the most prior ink that we would work over for microblading, so I do want to point that out. Anything more than that in microblading is just not a good option. But now we're finishing applying the gel. I like blue gel, but a lot of secondary broken skin numbings will work. And then we're applying plastic just to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere and she gets extra numb. The reason I started doing this numbing technique was because I was taught to numb first, and then I found that my outline took so long that my clients weren't numb anymore. Then when I tried to numb after the outline, it kept smearing and removing the dots. So if it's happened to you, then you know that's super frustrating. And so I came up with this method to avoid that completely. So now we're gonna jump in. As you can see, this client is receiving her first pass and you can already see bleeding. That's a lot more bleeding than you would wanna see on anybody when you microblade. So pinpoint bleeding is okay. This isn't the most that you would see, but it's not a good sign. So usually it just means that the person is extra sensitive, or it could mean that they're using something, or they have a product, or they take a medication that's causing them to bleed. But I did feel like it was important to start showing more videos on our channel because I don't see a lot of education on that for artists on YouTube or online in general, but this can happen and you have to figure out how you're gonna deal with it. So if you're faced with a client who's bleeding, what you're gonna do is work quickly and try not to spend too much time letting the blood seep through. You might have to blot often. And then pigment masking, we do that for all clients, but especially for a client who is showing some bleeding. We wanna make sure that we try to stop that bleeding and soak the ink into the cuts if we can. And of course, we would wanna counsel our clients and let them know that there are better options for bleeders like powder brows or really any machine method. So now one pass has been done, and we always apply pigment mask between our passes just to get a little more depth. And Mary's now wiping off that one brow, and you can see what one pass looks like. You can still see her underlying tattoo, and the shape is there, the outline's intact, so we don't need the dots anymore. But now we kind of need to do another pass. And then we always apply a secondary numbing. So we use a Q-tip and apply the liquid. And I love Ultra Duration, or really any numbing that has epinephrine in it. It really just helps stop bleeding. So I do want to point out, if you look at that right brow, it's starting to have these little dots of blood. That's not active bleeding. That's actually the epinephrine doing its job. So if you do use a secondary numbing with epinephrine, you can expect to see kind of that bleeding, and that's from the blood flow being constricted. After one pass with the mask and numbing, we go in and we do another pass, and we hit those same strokes usually twice depending on skin and what the strokes look like, but most of the time we need 2 passes, and then we add more if we need to. And again, we pigment mask, and then we do the same thing on the other brow. I know I have a lot of videos that talk about technique, and we talk about this in our microblading technique online course, but needle angle and stretch is so important, and Mary's showing you here that 3-point tiny little stretch and a 90-degree angle. So as you're watching the video, I kind of want you to keep that in mind. If you need help with your results, that's super important. So after a couple passes, we kind of check our work. We brush the hair out of the way. We're looking to make sure where are those strokes, where are the holes, what needs to be touched again. And then we go in and we do another third mini pass if we need to. And then of course we mask again because we mask between every pass. As you can see here, a couple passes have been done, but right now we're just looking at strokes that need a little extra help, or maybe baby strokes that need to be filled in more. So very carefully picking where to put these last few strokes, or just tracing color into the strokes that are already there that need more saturation, not making the cuts deeper or bigger and causing unnecessary trauma. So as you can see here throughout the video, our client is super comfortable. She's been real chatty, relaxing, and that's always the goal. So if you are struggling and you're getting clients who are wincing and really white knuckling it to get through the whole process, you really should check out another numbing technique or product. And we have our online course for you with our method. So if you need help with that, you can check it out in the link in our description. But I really tried to make it simple so that you could replicate the same thing. And if people are comfortable and relaxed, they are totally going to refer their friends and come back forever and ever. And that's just going to help you grow your business and get more clients. So to close the video, I just want to point out that we are spending a lot of time cleaning the client up, checking our work, making sure everything's perfect, and then making sure she looks nice and clean for the big reveal and our after photos, which is so important. All right, so I hope this video was super helpful for you and you can use some of the tips and tricks I shared. If you would like some more involved help, we have tons of online classes that are very targeted for what you need as a business owner and in your technique. And I also have an Instagram channel dedicated to helping artists. You can follow us at Brow MB Academy on Instagram. And I hope to see you guys in our next video.